Another World once transported audiences into emotionally charged dramas and intertwining love stories in the fictional town of Bay City, evoking unforgettable memories from the 1960s through the 1990s. But behind the glitz and glamour, many of the show's stars have since left us. Some due to devastating illnesses, others to tragic accidents. Let us pay tribute to the legends of Another World and honor the legacies they left behind. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get started. Audra Lindley as Liz Matthews. Audra Lindley was born on September 24, 1918 in Los Angeles. At age 46, she took on the role of Liz Matthews in the long-running series Another World, a strong woman who constantly involved herself in the affairs of the Matthews family in Bay City. Liz wasn't just the heart of family drama. She became a symbol of sharp-witted, outspoken women unafraid of confrontation. But the role that etched her name into television history wouldn't come until she was in her 60s. In 1977, she became Helen Roper on Three's Company, a quick-witted, endearingly frustrated landlady with a colorful wardrobe and a husband who seemed comically uninterested in her affections. Her chemistry with Norman Fell, who played her husband Stanley, made them one of sitcom history's most memorable couples. Helen Roper was funny, flirty, and perpetually disappointed, but she was also layered, real, and quietly heartbreaking. Audra reprised the role in the spin-off The Ropers from 1979 to 1980, further cementing her place in pop culture. Millions of viewers laughed at her punchlines, but few knew just how much pain she was carrying off-screen. In 1970, Audra's first husband, Hardy Ulm, passed away, leaving her to raise 5 children on her own. It was a devastating blow, one that forced her to become not only a mother, but a provider, a protector, and an emotional anchor. 2 years later, she married fellow actor James Whitmore. But even that union, filled with promise and creative partnership, would end in divorce by 1979. Through every twist and turn of her personal life, Lindley kept moving forward, bringing humor, honesty, and heart to every role she played. The laughter she created on screen was often her way of coping, of rising above the heaviness she carried in real life. Her strength was unshakable, but not invincible. In her final years, Audra faced her most difficult battle when she was diagnosed with leukemia, a relentless and unforgiving form of cancer. Even as the disease slowly drained her energy, she never stepped away from the work she loved. She continued acting into 1997, appearing in shows like Sybil and even in the thriller film The Relic. Her passion for the craft was evident until the very end. Acting was more than a career. It was her sanctuary. On October 16, 1997, Audra Lindley passed away at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles at the age of 79. Her ashes were interred beside her parents at Woodlawn Cemetery in Santa Monica, a peaceful resting place near the city where her journey began. At the time of her passing, her net worth was estimated $2.5 million, accumulated through years of steady television work, particularly from the enduring success and syndication of Three's Company. Anne Heche as Vicky Hudson. Anne Heche was born on May 25, 1969 in Aurora, Ohio. At 18, she officially entered the entertainment industry with a breakthrough role in Another World, portraying contrasting twin sisters, the gentle Marley Love and the rebellious Vicky Hudson. This complex performance made Anne a standout face on late 80s television and earned her a prestigious Daytime Emmy Award in 1991, marking a dazzling start to her career. However, behind the spotlight lay a life scarred by trauma. Raised in a strict religious household, her mother was a religious extremist, while her father, secretly gay, died of AIDS in 1983. 3 months later, her brother Nathan died in a car crash, plunging the family into deep crisis and forcing Anne to take on the role of breadwinner at a young age. Fame after Vicky brought both glory and heavy consequences. From 1997 to 2000, her high-profile relationship with Ellen DeGeneres captivated the world. But during that same period, Anne's career stalled. She later admitted, "They said I lost roles just because I was gay." She battled acute mental illness for years, even being found wandering in the desert in a delusional state, an event she described as a public psychotic break. Despite everything, Anne tenaciously rebuilt her film career. Her most notable roles were in Donnie Brasco, 1997, 6 Days, 7 Nights, 1998, and Return to Paradise, 1998. She proved her talent with Tony and Emmy nominations for the Broadway play 20th Century and the TV movie Gracie's Choice. Tragedy struck again on August 5, 2022, when she was involved in a severe car accident in Los Angeles. She fell into a coma and was declared brain dead on August 11th, 6 days later. Anne's life ended at age 53 due to fire-related injuries and traumatic brain injury. Her body was cremated, and her ashes were interred at Hollywood Forever Cemetery in a small but heartfelt ceremony. At the time of her death, her net worth was around $8 million, mostly accumulated from film and TV roles. Hugh Marlowe as Jim Matthews. Hugh Marlowe, born Hugh Herbert Hipple, was born on January 30, 1911, in Philadelphia. At age 53, he took on the role of Jim Matthews in Another World, a principled patriarch devoted to his family and respected throughout Bay City. That role, which he played until his final days, solidified Marlowe as a television icon of loyalty and integrity. But his personal life didn't mirror the ideal characters he often portrayed. He married 3 actresses: Edith Atwater, K.T. Stevens, and Rosemary Torrey. His relationship with K.T. Stevens lasted over 2 decades and produced 2 children, but ultimately ended quietly in divorce, leaving him with long, lonely nights, even as the stage lights still burned bright. His final marriage to Rosemary gave him a son, but their relationship was shadowed by unresolved pain from his past. Marlowe's career spanned every frontier of show business, from prestigious Broadway productions like Laura and Kiss the Boys Goodbye, to Hollywood hits like All About Eve and The Day the Earth Stood Still. But it was his portrayal of Jim Matthews in Another World that carved his place in the hearts of American TV audiences. With a stern gaze, commanding voice, and subtle emotional delivery, Marlowe became the ideal on-screen father and husband. That role kept him connected to the public until the end of his life. The final tragedy struck on May 2, 1982. While filming Another World, Marlowe suddenly collapsed from a heart attack. He died at age 71, shocking the cast, crew, and fans alike. He was buried at Ferncliff Cemetery, final resting place of many entertainment legends. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at $1.5 million, largely from long-term television contracts and his iconic role in Another World. Virginia Dwyer as Mary Matthews. Virginia Dwyer was born on December 19, 1919, in Omaha, Nebraska. At 44 years old, she became the quintessential mother figure, Mary Matthews, in Another World, one of the first and most pivotal roles in the decades-long series. With a performance marked by gentleness, intelligence, and compassion, she quickly became the image of the nation's mother. But behind the glow of fame was a life marked by loneliness and quiet tension. Dwyer was married to director and producer Walter Gorman, but their marriage was reportedly strained and childless. She rarely spoke of her private life, and during the years of tireless television work, she would return to a solitary apartment in Manhattan, avoiding parties and social events. The peak of her heartbreak came in 1975, when she was abruptly written out of Another World by head writer Harding LeMay. Rumors suggested it was because she refused to memorize her lines exactly as written, a small act, but considered a challenge to authority at the time. Despite her character being beloved by millions, LeMay killed Mary Matthews off-screen without ceremony. For an actress who had devoted over a decade to the role, Her exit was cold and brutal. After that blow, Virginia virtually disappeared from the entertainment industry. She made only one brief appearance in a small commercial. Friends recalled that she lived a quiet, reclusive life, turning down all interview and reunion invitations. For her, the stage had once been a home, but it was also where she tasted the bitterest humiliation of her career. Virginia Dwyer passed away quietly on August 20th, 2012, in Manhattan, at the age of 92. In her final years, she lived simply, with an estimated net worth of around $1 million, built from 2 decades of dedication to daytime television. Beverlee McKinsey as Iris Carrington. Beverlee McKinsey was born on August 9, 1935, in Oklahoma. As Iris Carrington, a complex, calculating woman forever yearning for her father's love, McKinsey captivated millions from the 1970s to the early 1980s in Another World and its spin-off Texas. But behind the glamour of a TV star were years of tension, heartbreak, and fiercely bold decisions that earned her respect across Hollywood. Her personal life was no smoother. McKinsey went through 3 marriages, the most heartbreaking of which was caring for her third husband, actor Berkeley Harris, during his battle with terminal brain cancer. His death in 1984 left a deep void. Not only a single mother, Beverlee also had to endure those grief-stricken years while continuing to perform. In 1992, after nearly a decade as Alexandra Spaulding on Guiding Light, McKinsey abruptly exited the show, leaving the production team stunned. Unlike the usual polite Hollywood goodbyes, she candidly admitted she was exhausted by the unpleasant work environment and soulless storylines. She left under a contract clause she had negotiated herself back in 1986. "They didn't read the contract. I read every word," she once remarked coldly. Afterward, she rejected all offers to return to the screen. In 1994, she made a fleeting appearance on General Hospital solely to maintain her health insurance eligibility. But her final years turned into a true battle. In 1998, she underwent a kidney transplant and lived quietly in Southern California. Beverlee McKinsey died on May 2, 2008, in Los Angeles, aged 72, due to complications following the transplant. Her net worth at the time of death was estimated at around $2 million. Not a fortune, but a testament to the powerful layered roles she delivered with unwavering depth and strength. Constance Ford as Ada Lucas. Constance Ford was born on July 1, 1923, in the Bronx, New York. She joined Another World in 1967 at age 44. As Ada Lucas, a sharp, strong-willed widow, she became a central figure for over 2 decades, evolving from a working-class mother to a wise mentor for multiple generations of characters. Ada was not just a mother on screen. She represented loyalty, sacrifice, and the hard-earned wisdom of resilient women. Yet behind the strength was a personal life full of solitude and emotional fracture. Ford never publicly married or had children, and throughout her career, she was never seen with any romantic partner. The press often speculated about her sexuality and unusually private demeanor. It wasn't until a posthumous biography that her romantic relationship with author Louise Fitzhugh was revealed. That loneliness only deepened with age. Ford lived with her elderly mother for many years and had few close friends. She was seen arriving daily on the set of Another World, working tirelessly and leaving quietly. In a rare interview, she admitted, "When you've lived a life of discipline, there's not much room left to forgive yourself." That sentence, though vague, spoke volumes. Although personal happiness eluded her, she had a shining moment of recognition when the Television Academy honored her for her contribution to daytime drama. Her breakout film role as the domineering Helen Jorgensen in A Summer Place, 1959, paved the way for her complex portrayals of difficult women, a type of role only Ford could imbue with such nuance and gravity. In 1992, her health began to deteriorate due to cancer. Ford retired from the show and, just a year later, passed away on February 26, 1993, in Manhattan, aged 69. Another World dedicated an entire episode to her memory, a rare honor for any actor at the time. Her estimated net worth at death was around $2 million, reflecting a lifetime of relentless work in the industry. Micki Grant as Peggy Harris Nolan. But off-screen, Micki's life was marked by a quiet resilience born of hardship. That same year she made her television debut, she married Ray McCutcheon, a television editor. On the surface, it seemed like a new chapter, professionally and personally. But after 12 years of marriage, the two quietly parted ways in 1978. They had no children, and Micki rarely spoke about the personal pain she endured. Those who knew her understood that she poured herself into her art instead. Acting, writing, composing. These weren't just creative outlets for her. They were lifelines. They were how she processed grief, how she rebuilt herself time and again. And she had to rebuild more than once. As a black woman in a predominantly white entertainment industry, she faced rejection, dismissal, and indifference. Many doors were closed to her simply because of the color of her skin. But Micki refused to stay on the margins. Instead, she carved her own path. In 1972, she debuted Don't Bother Me, I Can't Cope, a vibrant, defiant, and unapologetically black musical that she not only wrote and composed, but also starred in. It tackled issues of race, poverty, and black identity with humor, honesty, and hope. The show was a triumph, earning her a Tony Award nomination and making her one of the first black women to achieve such recognition on Broadway. In an era when most doors remained shut, Micki Grant kicked them open with grace and genius. Yet fame was never her end goal. After 1990, she gradually withdrew from public life. Invitations, interviews, and reunions came, but she declined them all. When asked why, she offered a simple, profound response. I've said enough through my work. And perhaps she had. Her legacy wasn't built on celebrity appearances or red carpets. It was built on courage, on authenticity, and on the sheer beauty of choosing to speak, even when the world didn't want to listen. Micki Grant passed away on August 22, 2021 in Manhattan at the age of 92. She left behind no heirs, no sprawling empire, no headlines. What she did leave behind was something much rarer, a legacy of change, of representation, of artistic truth. Her estimated net worth at the time of her death was around $1 million. Not vast by Hollywood standards, but rich in meaning. Barbara Berjer as Bridget Connell. Before her television career took off, Barbara's life followed a very different rhythm. She studied dance at the prestigious Cornish College of the Arts, where she met her future husband, Lee Foley, who was her dance instructor at the time. The two married in 1942, and for a while it seemed like a storybook romance, an artistic partnership built on mutual passion. They had a son together, Thomas, and for a time Barbara devoted herself to motherhood. But as the years passed, their paths began to diverge. Lee pursued his own creative ambitions, and Barbara found herself torn between raising a child and a growing desire to act. The marriage quietly unraveled, ending in divorce. She never remarried. From that point on, she lived independently, quietly, and with an unmistakable grace. Barbara's path into television acting wasn't a smooth one. By the time she began pursuing roles in earnest, she was already in her 30s, a time when the entertainment industry often looked past women for younger faces. Still, she persisted. She eventually secured the role of Claire English on As the World Turns, but even that opportunity came with its challenges. Producers were hesitant, and skepticism followed her throughout her time on the show. Then, in 1971, came a moment that would deeply affect her. The character of Claire was written out, killed off, simply because she had become a great-grandmother. No scandal, no dramatic arc. Just age. The message was as painful as it was clear. In an industry obsessed with youth, maturity could be treated like a liability. For Barbara, it wasn't just a professional setback. It was a personal wound. Still, she endured. When she stepped into the shoes of Bridget Connell years later on Another World, it felt like a quiet redemption. Her performance wasn't flashy, but it didn't need to be. Bridget was a grounding force, the kind of character who offered advice in the kitchen, kept family secrets with unwavering loyalty, and reminded everyone what it meant to care. Audiences didn't just watch Barbara, they trusted her. She represented the type of woman often overlooked in both fiction and real life. The steady one, the dependable one, the woman whose value was rooted in presence rather than drama. Barbara Berjer passed away on October 20th, 2002 in New York City from pneumonia. She was 82 years old. She left behind no large fortune, only about $500,000 saved from her years of long-running roles. But she left behind the image of a strong woman who stood her ground with quiet dignity. Nicholas Coster as Robert Delaney. Nicholas Coster was born on December 3, 1933 in London, England. He joined Another World in the 1980s, in his 50s, playing Robert Delaney, a charming, intelligent, and enigmatic businessman. The character not only stirred romantic tension among the leading ladies, but also shifted major plot lines with his mysterious past and commanding presence. Behind the scenes, his personal life was no less turbulent. Nicholas married actress Candice Hilligoss, a seemingly romantic union of two artists. They had 2 children together, but the pressures of their careers and growing emotional distance caused their marriage to crumble. Their divorce in 1981 ended 19 years of marriage. Coster never remarried, and friends said he carried lasting regret over not being able to hold his family together during the peak of his career. Nicholas's acting career spanned over 6 decades, but it was far from easy. For a long time, he was typecast in supporting or unlikable roles, struggling to showcase his range and depth. It wasn't until he took on the role of Lionel Lockridge in Santa Barbara, a refined, intelligent man riddled with internal conflict, that he truly exploded in popularity, appearing in nearly 600 episodes and leaving an indelible mark on American TV audiences. Nicholas Coster passed away on June 26, 2023 in Florida at the age of 89. His net worth at the time of his death was estimated at around $2 million, mostly from his enduring roles in Santa Barbara, Another World, and decades of steady work in American television. Douglas Watson as Mac Corey. Douglas Watson was born on February 24, 1921 in Jackson, Georgia, and began portraying Mac Corey in Another World in 1974 at the age of 53. His character, an intelligent, principled, and emotionally rich publishing magnate, quickly became the moral center of Bay City for nearly 15 years. Across hundreds of episodes, Mac was not only a stern father and devoted husband, but also the heart of many tearful family tragedies. Off-screen, Watson's life was marked by silent scars. A World War II veteran, he was wounded twice in battle and awarded the Purple Heart, something he rarely spoke of. Upon returning from the war, he carried with him unspoken trauma, and it was only on stage that he found true release. Success came late, but it was well earned. His role as Kent in King Lear at the New York Shakespeare Festival in 1974 helped him break free from typecasting and directly led to his casting as Mac Corey. The role earned him 2 consecutive Daytime Emmy Awards in 1980 and 1981. On May 1, 1989, Watson died suddenly of a heart attack while vacationing in Arizona at the age of 68. His passing came while he was still under contract and at the peak of his career, leaving castmates and fans stunned. His net worth was estimated at around $2 million, most of which stemmed from his legendary work on Another World. Ray Liotta as Joey Perini. Raymond Allen Liotta was born on December 18, 1954 in Newark, New Jersey. At 24, he began his acting career playing Joey Perini in Another World, 1978 to 1981. It was a quiet debut, but few knew the emotional weight he carried behind the camera. Abandoned as an infant, Liotta was adopted at 6 months old. Later in life, he hired a private investigator to locate his birth mother, discovering that he had 6 half-siblings. Searching for connection, he married actress and producer Michelle Grace in 1997. He once said that family was his greatest anchor. They had a daughter together, but the marriage ended quietly in 2004. Following the divorce, Liotta lived a private life, steering clear of scandal, though he was involved in a DUI-related accident in 2007. Despite personal instability, Liotta thrived on screen. His breakout role came in 1990 as Henry Hill in Martin Scorsese's Goodfellas, portraying the descent of a remorseful mobster. He later impressed in Field of Dreams, Marriage Story, and the TV series Shades of Blue with Jennifer Lopez, consistently delivering performances filled with psychological depth and volatility. Off-camera, Liotta once admitted he had no real hobbies until filming Texas Rising, where he unexpectedly discovered a love for horseback riding. In his final years, despite being honored with a posthumous Emmy nomination and a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, he delved into ancestry research, learning he was mostly Irish, not Italian as he had long believed. On May 26, 2022, Ray Liotta passed away in his sleep in the Dominican Republic while filming Dangerous Waters. At 67, he left behind a rich legacy in film and an estimated net worth of $14 million, earned through decades of unforgettable, intense performances from Goodfellas to Cocaine Bear. Luke Perry as Kenny. Luke Perry was born on October 11, 1966, in Mansfield, Ohio. At 22, he appeared in 10 episodes of Another World as Kenny, a minor role, but one that served as a launching pad for his future stardom. That humble part marked the beginning of a journey that would lead him to become an icon of American youth in the 1990s. Before the spotlight, Perry's childhood was marked by hardship. His parents divorced when he was just 6, and at age 14, he lost his father to a sudden heart attack, a devastating blow that left a permanent mark on the boy who once served as his high school team's mascot. That loss instilled in him a lifelong feeling of having to carry the weight alone, always yearning for peace amidst the limelight. His breakout role as Dylan McKay in Beverly Hills, 90210, turned Perry into a cultural phenomenon. But few realized that behind the image of the brooding rebel was a quiet man who avoided the Hollywood circus. He once said, "I'll always be linked to Dylan, and that's fine. I created him, and he's a part of me." Fame, however, brought crushing pressure. At a 1991 autograph event, a crowd of over 10,000 teenage girls became so unruly that Perry had to leave after just 90 seconds, an incident that made him question the cost of stardom. His personal life was just as complex. His marriage to Rachel Sharp lasted from 1993 to 2003, producing 2 children, including Jack Perry, now a professional wrestler. Although the divorce was amicable, Perry later admitted that fame and work demands had made it difficult to sustain a family. After the split, he withdrew from the public eye, focusing on his kids and avoiding the Hollywood party scene. In his 50s, Perry found renewed acclaim playing Fred Andrews on Riverdale, a devoted, quiet father, seemingly mirroring the love and presence he longed to give in real life. At the time, his net worth was estimated at around $10 million, accumulated over 3 decades of work in film, television, and theater. But fate had other plans. On February 27, 2019, Perry suffered a massive stroke at his Los Angeles home. Though rushed to the hospital, he slipped into a coma and passed away a week later on March 4th at age 52. His death shocked fans worldwide, and Riverdale's Season 4 premiere became a deeply moving tribute to the man behind one of the most beloved characters of a generation. Another World left audiences with unforgettable memories of love, drama, and the timeless characters of Bay City. Though many stars are now gone, they live on through each episode, a testament to the power of storytelling. What moment from Another World do you remember most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.